Namaste, namaskar, good evening to all of you to Roots Reunion. This is our second episode, and we are very fortunate that today we have Dr. Stevens from Philippines. And before we go to the Dr. Stevens, I want to give a short introduction about the Roots Reunion. And today our topic is that echoes of the epics, tracing the ancient ties between the Ramayana in the Philippines and India. So, what is Roots Reunion? A very short description about it. That India, an ancient country, has maintained a strong relationship with many countries worldwide. Its roots can be traced back throughout maritime route and Silk Route, sometime through the Indian Ocean and Bay of Bengal, sometime through the Himalaya. But do we know all those routes and all those relations? So that's why this roots reunion, and we will find our trace, our common cultural sharing, our shared heritage, and how we know each other. So by listening to everyone, we can gain a deeper understanding of our countries from the and other how they people are thinking about us, so on that. So today we have a big topic on that, how Ramayana in Southeast Asia. So today we are very happy that Stephen is with us, and Stephen Patrick C. Fernandez. He is well known to me, I think from 2018, Stephen. I think 2018 or 2019.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
yeah,
Even
2019 we
earlier,
met.
I think we met in Bangkok. I think it
Yeah,
was
yeah. In 2000,
2016.
yeah, 16, with 2016.
16. Yeah.
So I saw first Ram Leela from Philippines, and I was so surprised to see that, oh, Philippines have so many Ramayana. So, and after then, we met in 2019 in Ajodhya for the Deepotshav, so the award ceremony. It has happened in the, I think, in this time of the, after the, our Durga Puja. So, Stephen, I am giving a short introduction. He is a very great personality. It's not possible to say about him something in a few lines, but I have to give a official introduction from the behalf of Roots Reunion. So, Stephen is a scholar, a dramaturg, director, playwright, music composer, and creative writer. Has produced over 50 productions that have drawn acclamation in Europe, US, mainland Pacific, and Asia, including road shows across the Philippines. He has established methods and principles in performance that mark innovative process in production, now recognized in Philippine dramaturgy. His pedigree is essayed to 6 books. He has authored, including numerous papers in national and international journal. These have been the subject of various keynote addresses and lectures at numerous international conferences. He is actually the founder, he founded the Integrated Performing Arts Guild, that is known as the IPAG, and the pioneering MSU IIT Culture and Art Studies program. To his being visiting professor and a cultural performance studies specialist here and abroad. He was awarded fellowship to Sweden, Japan, and the US. He has enriched Philippine culture and art studies by providing groundbreaking paradigm that interrogate the present model of art and culture education. Listed in the Cambridge International Biographic Center's edition, and there are many other 2000 outstanding intellectuals of the 21st century, and Philippine Yearbook, Philippines Encyclopedia of the Arts, and the Cultural Center of the Philippine CCP. He won the many prize and many award. He's very well acclaimed personalities in the field of art and culture of Philippines. So today we are very fortunate to getting you. Namaste, Stevens, and we are Roots Reunion. Our audience are joining from the various part of the globe. Maybe someone from Delhi, someone from the Australia, someone from any other countries too, and from Kolkata also. And I hope we are excited to listening about the few questions. We can chat actually that how and what is the cultural synthesis? How has the Ramayana, a traditional Hindu epic, been adapted and embraced within the cultural framework of the Philippines, which is mainly predominantly Christian? This is a very important question. Many people ask me that how.
Okay, good evening. Thank you very much, Anita, good friend Anita, who included us in her book on the Ramayana. We are very much honored. You see, we started putting up our own version of the Ramayana, derivative of the Sanskrit Ramayana in 2015 when we premiered this in Singapore. And later on in 2016 during the International Ramayana Festival in Bangkok. And after this, we've had a lot more invitations in nations where the Ramayana is heritage. And on Monday, we're returning back to Bangkok to again perform for the 2024 International Ramayana Festival. So it is going to be such an honor for us, particularly for a country like the Philippines that has been separated from mainland Asia. So if you see it in the map, you will note that our country is separated from mainland by that sea there, that a very controversial sea between the mainland and us. And the separation is not only geographical, but the separation is historical also, because the Philippines being colonized for a long, long time by European uh, nations, forces like Spain, and later on by America in the 19th and 20th century. So I think I was able to solve now the screen because I have it here now with me, and I can share the presentation. Uh,
Actually, I cannot see your presentation till now. So I think
I'll try.
I
I
think
will try to see. No, I think
no,
I can.
Pratap can, my husband can share. I already sent him.
No, I'm
So,
okay. I'm okay now. Tell me if you see it.
Let
Tell me if
me try.
is it okay? Can do you see this?
Yeah, it's coming.
no, I
Filipino
think,
It's
Ramayana
coming.
and ancient Hindu connection.
no,
Is it
no,
okay?
it is only your screen. We can see us, but not the presentation.
Okay. Oh, I thought it's okay now.
Yeah, it is coming, but it's
It
not
was
the
coming. It
whole.
was coming. Just stay back.
Okay, let me try again, huh? Let me try again by
No,
sharing this.
no, I
Uh,
think Stephen Pratap also can say share it.
No,
I
I
think
don't know whether I can do it. Let
okay,
me try
okay,
also.
okay.
okay. Um, if I share this, tell me if you see this. Do you see my
No,
screen now?
yeah, we can see your screen, but it is us, not other part.
Okay. I hope because I prepared well. I'm not used to.
No,
Um,
no, 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 no. I just because for me this is I very much used to, but sometime this when I am doing the presentation, so it is sometime problem to present because I am host the program. Yeah, so I am trying to.
I also could not.
So in between that, can I
this
ask
one.
you that? Yeah, is
Do you
it
see
come?
this now?
Okay,
Do you
wait.
see this now?
Uh, yes, yes,
Not
yes.
yet.
Came. Oh,
Filipino Ramayana and ancient Hindu
it
connection. Do
was
you see
came
that?
and then again went back. It was there, but again it's went back. We
This is
cannot
okay.
see. No, no, no. It's not came, Stephen.
Actually, he has to
Oh,
share the file, but what he's trying to do is he's sharing his screen.
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to share the file because here we can see only the. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
this
but
is the.
there is it doesn't anyway. It doesn't come out in the in the file. That's right. Um, it doesn't come out in the file. Anyway, I'll just stop. Huh? So
Okay, yeah, you stop. I am looking after, because why not it's come to me?
why?
Actually, the host has to make Steven co-host. Probably when he becomes co-host, then he will be able to share the file.
Yes, I already did. I already did. Yeah. So
Okay.
I
Uh,
no, yes. So okay, what you can do?
okay. Anyway, let me just continue, no? And maybe you can do something there with the files I gave, no?
Yeah, no.
Uh,
What we can do, we can talk about that, because you said that you were starting from the 2015, but the Ramayana in Philippines is very old. So from when it came to know about the Ramayana to
okay.
the Philippine society?
Yeah, we have a very different Ramayana here. Again, I'd like to see epics and narratives
Hmm.
as literary and performance expressions connected to culture. And the culture, the Hinduism and the Buddhist culture did
Hmm.
not really put a large mark because of the Christian colonization of Spain, except in the fringes. And when I talk about the fringes, I talk about Mindanao, where the island in the southernmost country, the southernmost part of our country where we live now. Okay,
Okay.
because this is the portion where this has been least colonized, and until this portion, the derivatives of the Ramayana narrative is still, we find it still here, no, in Mindanao. I will explain. So that the spread of Hindu and Buddhism may actually have commenced as early as the third century
Hmm.
before the Christian era, no, speaking during the Srivisaya Empire in the 7th century. You know, we had a privilege even of joining last year, last October, the Panji Festival in Indonesia, Panji Festival of Javanese narrative of the Panji tales, derivatives which we find very little of here. And at the moment, we're still researching on the derivatives of all of these contributions, all of these influences of the Srivijaya, even of the Majapahit Empire. So
Okay.
this continues. This Srivijaya Empire in the 7th century continues in the 15th century with the influence of the Majapahit Empire in the Philippines through the southern communities that I was saying to you of Sumatra and Java. So that Indian cultural influences therefore spread in the Philippines. We are actually an
I think
archipelago of,
I think now it is sharing.
is it?
See?
Okay.
Can you can you
I,
can you see? Someone can anyone see that? Is it? It can
I
be
Yes,
just
yes,
shared.
we
can
can
only
see, we
Yes,
can
yes,
see.
yes, we can see, Anita.
I can only see
Okay.
your logo.
No, see, I am sharing.
Yes, it is coming.
It is
So this is
coming.
Yeah, we can see clearly.
okay. So we are in the second slide, and you are talking about,
You have the slide now.
yeah,
Actually I cannot see the slide. What I can see is anyway. What I can see
Majapahit. Can
is
you
your
see?
logo. Yeah, I cannot see the slide. I can only see the Bose Ani logo here. Bose Art logo.
Okay. Then I have to. Okay.
I will
That's
still continue anyway. Yeah, maybe we
So, so,
can we
so, so
can.
let's him continue the discussion on the basis you can keep on
yeah.
showing
You
the
you
slide.
can go you can go through your slide. Yeah, I can show you it to the people. Is it okay?
Okay. I the slide still cannot. I still cannot show the slide. I don't know why.
So, Stephen, don't worry. You keep on going on your the hard copies and let Sonita display the site.
How about this? Do you see the slide now?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Can
Do you
you
see the
see now?
slide?
It is visible. It is visible to all of us.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me,
Okay.
Stephen, we are in the
Okay.
third slide or first slide?
Uh, is this the first? We are in the first slide first. The second slide after the title.
Okay. Can it sing? The
I
Sri
wonder.
Vijaya? Sri Vijaya
maybe this.
Emperor?
Maybe this has to do with the application. I don't know.
Okay,
Okay.
but
So do you see the slide here?
if someone can see Sri Vijaya Empire 7 to 13th century?
Okay. This one, you see
No, no.
this.
No,
No.
no.
Actually,
Only the title page. Filipino
Filipino
Only on the
Ramayana.
Ramayana
lower
and
slides.
Nothing else.
Okay. Anyway, let me continue. So we are actually an archipelago of about 7,000 plus islands, no? Many, and our archipelago, we are not one full body of a nation, is composed of communities, and we have many engagements with southern and southwestern neighbors. So that Indian hegemony over Southeast
Oh,
Asia.
that's why. Just a minute, just a minute. If Stephen, you just off the presentation. You just stop sharing. That's why nobody can see my present. Just stop sharing. Yes, yes.
Is it
Now
okay
you
now?
can. See. Yeah, I think now see. Can it see now?
not yet.
Not yet. Not
Earlier it was coming, now it is nothing coming.
No, earlier it was only his first slide. So I am trying to show from my side. Then everyone can see and he also can see.
okay.
Yeah,
So you're
It's
presenting
them.
now. Yeah, but what I
yes,
see
yes.
only is the logo.
Here you can see. You can see.
We can see. So Stephen, you
It's
can keep
okay.
on.
I just tell you which
Yeah.
slide, no?
Yeah.
So I am now in the second slide. Second slide. So Indian hegemony over Southeast Asia ended with the decline of the Majapahit in the 14th century and the rise of Islam. So after that, Islam came in and it became the dominant religion, particularly in our island, southernmost island of Mindanao. So that these influences and the deep cultural consciousness and long relations that these have embedded in us, you can put in the next slide, please, have
Yeah.
left indelible markers in Philippine culture. Even if the Ramayana and the Mahabharata are requisite readings in literature, these are requisite readings in our schools, by the way. Much intangible cultural forms and archival materials from mainland Asia, India in particular, are all over us. These are deep and many. Like, for example, the influences of India: language, spirituality, titles, art, crafts, myths, literature, indigenous religions, social customs, social hierarchy, arts, crafts, traditional dresses, Sanskrit roots of a pre-Hispanic script. So you can just imagine the depth of Indian influences in Philippine culture.
So it's from the 8th to 9th centuries, I think.
Yeah. And then in the 14th century,
Hmm.
13th, 14th century, when Islam came in, the decline, and Islam became the more powerful force. So that the spread and influence of the Ramayana here and all over Asia can never be doubted, of course. The same may be said of Sanskrit elements in the various literatures, both oral and written, of our multifarious cultural communities. Such influences are more evident in Mindanao, the island where I live, the Philippines' southernmost island, where over 18 indigenous and 13 Islamized communities have settled. You can shift into the next slide, please.
This one?
Yeah, it says the video is paused because of problems with the network. You say,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
Okay.
I think everybody can see now. There is four people in a beautiful dress. Two ladies are sitting with the music instrument. This slide?
Yes, visible. Visible.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So let's get into the um, 1, 2, 3 to fifth slide, huh?
Fifth slide.
But this is not to say that
This
other
Tara,
communities,
Agusan
yeah,
Tara. Okay.
yeah, evidence of contacts. There is the
Hmm.
goose and golden image. Okay,
Hmm.
you can see evidences of contacts. That
Yes.
slide.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
okay. But this is not to say that other communities outside of Mindanao in the north have not had the influences of India. A history of contact of over 3,000 years and engagements among the Chinese, Arabs, and the Malays evidence the exchange of influence. The lore that embraced the Ramayana and the various other Sanskrit literatures include forms of performances like dances, music, creative expressions in our cultures. Islam took over the cultural colonization of the country, but only after much Hindu Buddhist marks have been engraved. These regular contacts were further cut short by the European contact. Commencing in the 1570s, after the Spanish discovered the wealth that invasion would offer after its failed occupation in 1521. So there are evidences of these contacts. I hope you see the slide now. The slide evidences of contacts, right? You see it?
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Okay. In the north of Mindanao, there is a city, it's about 3 or 4 hours away from our city here, is the city of Butuan. Etymology, Butuan means phallus, and has been discovered the Agusan golden image. Butuan is the capital of the province of Agusan and has been
Yes.
proven to be a center of trade in pre-Hispanic times. Take a look. Appearing like a Shivite goddess, the 4 pound 21 carat gold deity sits cross-legged, similar to a Ngajuk image of the early Majapahit period. Another Siva statue was found in Mactan in the central Philippine island of Cebu, plus more artifacts, including a medallion in Batangas and another icon of Ganesha. I will, however,
So
leave. So these are examples, physical
yeah.
examples
So
of
according to you, this is Shiva, the lower, the small
yes,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
According to the archaeological experts, no.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
Okay.
will, however, leave the veracity of these artifacts of history to the historians and anthropologists, as my concern as a cultural studies scholar and performance artist is to the Sanskrit influences, particularly that of the Ramayana, to Philippine literary and performance lore. So can we move now to the next slide, 6?
Yeah.
Okay. What we have here are Ramayana derivatives. The
Yes.
Ramayana epic,
That's very important. That what is the evidence of the Ramayana? Yeah. Yeah.
yes. And
Hmm.
I will give to you an example of a narrative that comes very close to the Ramayana of a Islamized community very close to where we live. So the Ramayana epic with its elements is central among the literary and cultural elements derived from mainstream Asia. Historians, of course, may prove the sweeping reach of the Majapahit and later Srivishayan empires, even to such peripheral roads as that of the Philippine archipelago. A Hindu enclave extended from mainland India into the Malaccan and Java kingdoms. In the ubiquitous influence of Hindu and Buddhism in Asia, historians will agree on the Indo-Javanese bridge of influences, of course, no? The peripheral location of the Philippine archipelago to the extreme west of India, separated by bodies of water, may have contributed to the less dominating qualities of foreign, particularly Indian influences. There's a great sea that separates this. Among the
Yes, sir.
Maranao communities, now I'm talking about an Islamized community that also occupies and lives in the community where I live. In the community where I live, called Iligan, that's a city in northern Mindanao, they have what they call the tri-people cultures. Tri-people because the settler, meaning the Christianized migrants, the Islamized culture, particularly that of the Maranao and the
Yes.
indigenous. So
Yes.
among this Maranao culture, approximately we have 500,000 of them settling around the central Mindanao lake of Lanao. Lanao means lake, no? Hence Maranao, people of the lake. Maranao. Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah.
are evidence of such engagement, including artifacts, language, and literature, among others. Contiguous cultures or communities settling beside each other, interacting and intermarrying with conquests and feuds, not uncommon, support the argument of cultures sharing similar forms, engaging in similar practices, and carrying similar values. Indo-Japanese incursions that brought along Sanskrit lore as Ramayana will be found among these contiguous communities. So I will now quote from eminent scholar Mamitwa Saber, okay, who argues that certain portions of the Maranao epic Darangen means to chant, and Darangen is actually 2008 UNESCO cultural, intangible cultural heritage. No, it's one of the most significant epics of Filipinos, and this epics is of the Maranao people. We find living here in our community.
Yes, that is very interesting, and I think the Filipino team also. Sometime you also play that thing, the Daranjan.
Yes, Darangan.
Yeah.
Darangan, we have what we call transcreated these epics into our dances. Transcreation is another principle that I have developed, but this is another story. Hmm?
Okay. So here in this slide, I can I ask you something? In this
Sure, go
slide,
ahead.
yeah, there is a few things that is very similar to in our language. It is that the manobo in your
Yes.
slide. Yeah. So manobo, is it like a human? And a
No,
mano?
Manobo is a people. It's a generic name for a group of several communities they find in Mindanao.
Okay,
Several
because
communities.
we said manob. Manob means the people.
Yes, people.
Yeah, people in our language is a manav. Manav
That's
means
correct.
manu.
That's correct.
Yes. And this is the Indra Patra. What is the meaning
Yes.
of that?
I do not know what it means to them in Dharapatra,
Okay.
but Indrapatra is the name of the hero
Oh,
uh,
good.
of the Maguindanao, or even no, Indrapatra is the epic of the Maguindanaon, or even the Ifugao Hudhud, similar to that. Raja Indrapatra.
Oh, so
Raja is
maybe
is an
Raja is the king.
honorific name of the Indians.
Raja is king.
Yes, is the
Yes,
name of a
Raja is
king
king.
and the
So
title of
King
the epic.
Indrapatra. Oh, very
Okay.
interesting. Thank you. So
So
go
there
through.
is that portion they have in the Darangan, the abduction of Arkat Alawanen, roughly princess, although it's a rough translation. It may have been derived from the Ramayana, but by sheer magnitude, the Darangan is 17 cycles of 72,000 lines. Huh? It is sung by an honor, they call it, a master artist who improvises and memorizes this and sings the narrative for several nights, not only one night. Episodes of history, epic heroes, values, manners of thinking and behavior, customary law, and a whole lifestyle which is embedded in the Maranao culture. The Darangan was inscribed, of course, I said about the intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2008. And it of being pre-Islamic origins well supports the evidence of Hindu, Buddhist, and even animist elements. Narrative elements such as storyline and characters certainly may have gotten into the people's stories, but indigenized to reform a context in their cultural environment. The claim may be contentious, but what is definite is the manner narratives, language, literature dispense from powerful conquering cultures into the less empowered communities. These narratives transcreate into localized constructs, original expressions reshaping into the representation and meanings of the receiving culture, which means to say that when I, for example, derive the narrative of the Ramayana using the characters of the Ramayana into a different context, the understanding of the representation and the meanings will come from the receiving culture.
Yeah.
Therefore, there is really a transcreation of meanings and then the transcreation of mindsets and consciousness. So
So
such is,
we
yeah,
can
yeah,
say
go
this is
ahead.
we can say this is the historical context and the spiritual feelings. of the Ramayana in Philippines?
Yes, but it has taken away its Hindu context of spirituality and has been derived into the context of animism, indigenous folk tales, and later on
Okay,
into Islam. So
okay.
the narrative, as close as possible as the narrative, is the original Sanskrit version of the Maranao Maharaja Lawana. So Maharaja, Raja, Lawana. So we'll talk about that.
Hmm.
So we'll talk about Maharaja Lawana now. Can you get into the next slide, please?
Yeah, Maharadya Lavana. We already in the next slide.
Okay. So here you have a very similar narrative that comes from the Ramayana. And I think this comes closest to, among our Philippine narratives, this comes closest to what the Ramayana is, as researched by Dr. Juan Francisco, an
Hmm.
eminent Indologist here. Um, he to be is perhaps the most significant uh, Indian scholar here. No? So
Yeah.
we have this Maharaja Lawana is a version among the Maranaos, and it appropriates similar characters in the epic. Like, for example, Laksamana, monkey child.
Laksamana.
Malay Laganig. Laksamana, it's not
Is the
Hanuman here. In
yeah.
the Ramayana, it is Hanuman. But in the Maharaja Lawana, it has become Laksamana. This is the
Hmm.
derivative. Okay. So
Okay. So
my
this is the adaptation and new interpretation.
it's not a new interpretation actually, but it is an ancient interpretation of the Ramayana narrative, which has gone down now because the narrative that we have done is a contemporized version, is a
Hmm.
translated version of the original Sanskrit, which we contemporize here in our own settings. So this Maharaja Lawana comes closest because this is ancient, comes closest to what may be a derivative of the Ramayana, but reconfigured into a community that is indigenous before becoming Islamic.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
we have characters like Malaila Ganding, who is actually Sita. Maharaja Lawana here is an eight-headed Ravana, and a repersonification of Rama
Can
here
I
is Raja
can I say
Magandiri.
something? Can I
Yeah,
say
go ahead.
something?
Go
Yeah.
There is
ahead.
one
Go ahead,
term.
please.
There is one
Go
term,
ahead.
putri. P-O-T-R-E, putri.
Hmm.
Actually,
Yes.
in Sanskrit, putri means daughter.
Yes.
Oh,
Putra
yes,
means
yes.
son. Putri means daughter.
Oh,
Hmm.
So
yes.
Yeah.
Sita was daughter of Janak.
Okay.
So
So here,
maybe
Tuan Potri Malano Tiana, Tihaya is Sita here. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And Rama is Radia Magandiri, and his brother is Radia mga
Manga.
Warna. So this is a derivative of Raja Radia. So Magandiri and a brother mga Warna. But besides this, there is little more to show in the similarities between these versions. So let's get to Maharaja Lawana. Narrates of similar episodes in the abduction, and recovery of Sita as told in the Rama epic, and not exactly of the original Ramayana or its context of obedience. Like, for example, since it is now out of context, we do not have now the cultural context of obedience, karma, and even dharma. So the most eloquent study of the Rama cultural infusion into Philippine lore is that, again, as I said, written by eminent Indologist Juan Francisco, who wrote about Maharaja Lawana. So can we have the next slide, please?
Yeah. So Radhiya Mangalgiri, Maharadhiya Lavana.
Okay. Raja Magandiri and Raja Mangawarna are the sons of Sultan and Sultaness of Agamaniog. Here, our location is Agamaniog. Imaginary setting of Maranao folk tales. Well, we will roughly translate this as land of the coconuts, Agamaniog, where the term Agama is rooted in the Malay religion.
It's very interesting. The
So
land of
Tuan
coconuts.
Potre, yeah, Tuan Potre Malano Tiaya, the Sita, and Raja Magandiri Rama in the Maranao version, this version, do not have the same conflicts as that in the original Ramayana, which was cause for their banishment. So here, Raja Magandiri fathers a monkey. Take note. And the monkey's son is Laksamana, but not by Teia, but by Putri Langawi, who swallows the testicles of Raja Magandire, gored out of his scrotum by a wild carabao in his dream. So again, there is a difference now here.
Yeah.
Laksamana thus takes the role of Hanuman in the original Lawana, and Lawana in the original Ramayana, and Lawana forcibly abducts without her consent the wife of Raja Magandiri.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
so let's get to slide number 9.
Yeah. I already.
Okay. So here you see Raja Magandiri and Raja Mangawarna are the sons of the Sultan and Sultanates. And
Yes.
Raja Magandiri fathers a monkey son, Laksamana, but not by Tihaya, but by Putri Langawi, who swallows the testicles of Raja Magandiri, gored out of his scrotum by a wild carabao in his dream. Okay. Now let's get into the next slide. Maharaja Lawana. We too would
Yes.
infer that the setting Agamaniyog would be Ayodhya, and
Okay.
Lawana's Pulu Banjamasir, the counterpart of Lanka.
Oh, it's very
So,
interesting. So Agamania is like a
yes,
Ayodhya.
Agamaniyog can be likened to Ayodhya, and Lawana's Pulo Banjamasir, the counterpart of Lanka. The migration of the Rama narrative to Lanao in Mindanao will greatly change circumstances. So let me talk about cultural practices. Cultural
Yeah,
practices.
before that, I have to ask you something. Like that,
Mhm.
this performance, you are doing this performance worldwide. So I think before we go to the practices, you can say something that how you started and why you interested about Ramayana, because there are so many topics. Why you particular interested about Ramayana?
Our interest goes now to our contemporary age of the role of women. That is, so we leave it up now to the audience to say, take note that in our production, we left it hanging after Sita goes through the fire.
Okay, so that
We
is
left it.
the one cause of your
Yes,
interest.
it's now for the
Okay.
audience now to decide, was this right or was this wrong? This is open for discussion, as many of our plays will often incite or inspire, no? Like
Mm.
when
Yes.
the Sita, that's why the title of our Ramayana is Sita, the Ramayana Revisited. Now
Yeah.
puts into
There is
context.
you write about Ramahari. Ramahari also a very famous production.
Yes. Ramahari is a famous production also here, and sticks to the original. And well, it's basically the same. Basically the same. What's this? Narrative line.
Okay.
But in our production, however, we try to involve some discussion with the role of women there, particularly when Sita goes through the fire, and we made a little the deviation from the original by making Lawana here as the real father of Sita in
Yeah, there
our
are
version.
different type of adaptation and the story
Yes,
also change mold. So
yeah. Actually, it's the same story, but only the relationships among these characters, and gives to us now more reason for debate and for discussion of the role of women in a modern society.
okay. So are there any specific style and dance form in the local folklore also?
Again, specific
Uh,
what?
and the specific style, the dance form?
None, actually. This is in the local Maharaja Lawana. It is a narrative that is sung, that is related by an honor to to an audience, to a community. However,
Okay.
there are uh, theater groups, like for example, Theater Sinigang Bayoka, that have contemporized this using their own styles also, uh, but in a contemporary setting and in a contemporary engagement with the audience. When I say contemporary engagement, we have a stage and an audience watching. Because in a traditional setting, the one who is singing and who dances a little bit are surrounded or is surrounded by the community that interacts actively with what she is saying. There
Okay.
is always that active interaction of shouting, of clapping, particularly in the manners of the performance of this epic in the drama.
I can see, I think we can see a beautiful puppet show in your slide, in this slide
Yes,
contemporary
this
transcription.
pup, this puppet show again, we have a version that is done by the puppet troupe of UP, University of the Philippines, under our national artist Amelia La Peña Bonifacio.
Okay. Okay. So this is
But
Rama and Sita.
yeah, it stuck to the narrative. In our version, we tried to put a little more space for interaction and discussion, not simply as a narrative, and discussion perhaps of dharma, of karma, and the roles of feminism now, even the roles of the relationship between husband and wife, to be able to relate this to the contemporary audience.
Okay. Okay. So this is your beautiful group. I saw.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
But as we do not actually dictate, we are not a didactic group. We present something, we show it as is, for the audience to be more engaged from their side in trying to give meanings to or representations to what they have experienced.
okay.
We present what is, and then they do the representation and they do the meanings, which I think should be the character of what good theater is. No?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the cultural practices here are, ka- I'm talking now about Maharaja Lawana, are
Hmm.
characteristic of the Maranao community. No? Like news of the beautiful Tihaya, daughter of the Sultan of Pulo na Bandal, smitten brothers Magandire and mga Warna. So they set on a tortuous, dangerous 10-year journey by sea to reach her, a 10-year journey. Shipwrecked, the brothers did not know that they have reached her island only after they discover a kalilang. A kalilang is a celebration among the Maranaos, announced by Kulintangs Agongs. This is the musical in our own version of the gamelan. But
Okay.
here we,
Gamelan.
yeah, but it's not
Yes.
the gamelan because it has a different quality. These are gongs and drums. So the
Okay.
celebration is similar to that you find in Hanaka festival when Rama bended Shiva's bow to win Sita. But here in the Maranao version, it is the game of Sipa sa Manggis. Sipa is kicking a ratan ball um, to a Manggis for to be able to capture, to get gifts that fall down, no? So rather than the hanging Manggis decor, the rattan ball was to be kicked to the lamin. The lamin is the place where the princess stays, no? Particularly in a culture where the princess, so to speak, is really protected until after marriage. So she is kept in that special place called the lamin. So this lamin is a room above the sultan's torogan. Torogan is palace, where
Okay.
the bai lives. So Magandiri success, instead of a bow here in the Maranao version, Magandiri Rama successfully kicks the sipa to Tihaya's lamin to win her in marriage. So that the Maranao version has no deception in Marichi, who takes the form of the enchanting there. Instead,
Hmm.
Raja Magandiri, on a journey to Agamaniog, while watching the golden grains they have planted, sees a deer with golden horns grazing. Tihaya craves for the animal so much so that she threatens death if this deer is not given to her. Magandiri accedes and, like in the Ramayana, requires his brother to keep watch on Tihaya to capture the deer. The deer fought back bravely, and Magandiri cried for help. But as instructed, Magawarna did not budge as he was concerned with the welfare of Tihaya. Concerned about Magandiri's situation, Tihaya threatened to kill herself if Magawarna did not go to help his brother. So his brother had to leave. As was expected, the brothers ran after the deer, lost it, but when Magawarna returned to their house, he found Malalaya Tahiya gone, abducted by Maharaja Lawana, their house destroyed, similar to the abduction in the Ramayana.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So here I think our audience also be uh, happy to ask to you that I met your your actor and actress. They all are very young, very energetic. I met them. So how have Filipino artists and the cultural practitioners managed to reconcile that the Hindu origin of the Ramayana with the country's Christian beliefs is there? Because I think I asked to your Rama that is there any conflict, and he said no, ma'am. We love to know more. So what do you think?
Yeah, is a very liberal. The religion is actually very liberal, particular to
Okay.
Christianity, because even the values there can be very Christian values. There is really nothing very religious. It is even more, how do you say it? More conventional rather than religious, more normal rather than religious in the narratives that we put up, like protecting a wife, like saving a wife, like getting one from someone who has abducted her, and etc.
Yes.
Which are really
Yes.
actually values that our communities keep. And our kind of Christianity here is a very liberal kind of Christianity. And in fact, the Christianity that we have here is not as strict as, the Catholic Christianity, because it combines a lot of animistic and even indigenous practices. So that there
Yeah.
is going to be no problem. In fact, in a very Christian place like Iligan, we have a lot of expressions and a lot of performances that, to be very strict, go against the, how do you say this, the conventions of real Catholicism and Christianity. Like, for example, in the veneration of saints, in the veneration of icons.
Yeah, that's very interesting for me because I came to know about Philippines from my childhood because my father was a sailor and he used to be many times in your country. But when I came to know you about and saw the Filipino Ramayana, I can tell my audience that it's a beautiful performance of what Stephen's iPad did. And I think they are coming to Bangkok again and they will do again. So I am very much waiting to see their presentation. It's mesmerizing. So what role do the performance of the Ramayana play in the contemporary Filipino society? Is there any impact?
Oh yeah, that's precisely the relationship of these characters are really very Filipino, very universal. The relationship of husband and wife, the
Okay.
trusting of husband and wife, even the values of loyalty or the values of getting back at someone who has abducted a wife, are really very what is Indian can be very Filipino in shared values such as this. But that's why we're trying to put Sita in the limelight as, how does a contemporary or a modern Filipino or Filipino community would see a woman in the light of all of these practices, in the light of all of this consciousness, all of these mindsets.
Oh,
So,
it's very nice to know. It's very nice to know about the thought because as well as your worldwide performance makes any significance when you went out went to the UK, went to US. So the new generation, how they take it?
well, we introduce our expressions, but introduce it in such a way that we can connect to an audience that is as contemporary as as the audiences of, say, Europe, as the audiences of Paris, or as the audiences of England or Germany, etc. In other words, I have this principle of transcreation in trying to get forms from the sources, but without necessarily misappropriating them. Forms
Yes,
from the sources, because the engagement of performances and expressions in the source will be a different engagement from that of a cosmopolitan city, like, for example, Paris or London, or even New Delhi, for example. The engagement of expressions, because expressions are actually in betweens, no? In between what a community wants to say to the same community, so that they share meanings. But the challenge here is that we are getting meanings coming from a source, but getting into a different community with a different mindset. So that is the challenge there.
yes, that's why I am asking, because it's not easy to perform this part of the Ramayana to the worldwide by the Filipinos, and there is a, that beliefs is different, the practices is different. So, how are these performance used in the educational context or to promote cultural understanding and heritage awareness? Is there something
Oh,
I
oh
am
yes.
asking about the performance. I mean,
Yeah.
from the dramatic and the performing arts, I want to ask, because you are the director of iPad. Mm.
Yes. When we first put this up in these locations, New Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, even Ayodhya, in places where the Ramayana was heritage, to be frank, we were very nervous if this would be acceptable, because we were scared that, we would not like to insult a community, insulting it by, misappropriating it, expressions coming from its very source. But fortunately, the opposite happened. Like, for example, when we performed for the Putsava, you see, the Brahmans saw it as a very religious and spiritual experience, and we were very happy for this. In fact, even for me, it inspired us to get into a different religious and spiritual stage while doing this, looking at an audience that got linked and got connected and got embraced by a religious experience such as the Ramayana that we were trying to make. No? So we were very happy, because in the very beginning we were really very nervous. And I think this just proves that as a dramaturgs, there are values, that universal values, that all communities share.
Yes, that is the universal values. That's very
Universal,
important.
yes. Like, everybody knows what is good, and everybody can separate what is evil. And I think all religions will agree about this. And the Ramayana is simply one sample, a major sample, a significant sample of how these values link, not only the whole of Asia, but I'm certain even Europe and the Western world. In other words, what we are presenting here is a narrative and characters that embraces all of these values that are universal. And this is proven by the performances that we've made.
Yeah,
This is proven by
that's
today.
why I am asking to you, because you have a wide experience. You have a wide experience to perform in the worldwide. So you know the repercussion, you know the reaction, and how, because people want to meet you, because I met your all the performer, and they are also not a very old person. They are, I mean, I want to say to the audience that the team of Stevens, they are a bunch of young chaps, I can say. So that's why I was so that I was so curious to know about them, that why they are doing, because I when I went to the Java Jogjakarta, so I saw the Ramayana performance in Jogjakarta. I am not telling about the Bali, but I am telling about the Jogjakarta. So I asked to the manager that I saw the kids from the 5 years, they are in the monkey troupe, and from the 5 years to 70 years, people are acting Ramayana daily. I mean, in Surabaya, in Jogjakarta, they perform daily. So, and they are not the believers of the, that our religious believer. So I asked to manager that how can it possible? How can they do it? And she asked me, ma'am, it is our identity. So maybe religiously we are different, but our culture is this. So what you are saying, that is a reflection of your thought also. So in this case, can I ask you that that I met that enthusiastic members in 2019, and uh, are they still doing? Is there any view regarding India when they went to India? They meet. I think I remember you went to Hanuman Gari in Ajodhya. So
Yes.
is there any impact of India on them? And I will come to Sunilji. Sunilji, after this question, I will come to you. Definitely.
I have a question for Stephen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, you can.
There is a place on eastern coast of India. Now it is called Odisha. Once upon a time, it was also called Kalinga.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
yes.
Kalinga has a rich history of maritime trade with Java, Sumatra, Indonesia since the time of Ashoka. That is 261 BC. I mean, the maritime trade would be much older than that.
Yeah.
We have many folk tales and folk songs where it is described that the merchants of Kalinga went to these places to trade in many kind of things, including clothes, spices, many things, and elephants also. Interestingly, I found that there is a place in Philippines which has name of Kalinga. Now, I'm just
They have it
curious,
in
what is the
Central
link?
Philippines, Central
Yeah, we are
Luzon.
curious, Stephen. Tell us about the Filipino Kalinga.
The Kalinga is found in the mountain regions of the Cordilleras. This is in Central Luzon, and they are an indigenous people. I do not have very significant information about them, but I know that there are migration routes coming from Taiwan going down because they have similar peoples as I have experienced coming from Taiwan, having the same cultures, having the same music, having the same physical appearances. These indigenous peoples of the central Luzon, there are actually several, but they are related. They're related as well. They have a great tradition, not only of dances, but of tattoo making, of houses, of culinary arts, of crafts, actually. And They are indigenous, and only very recently were they Christianized. But they have maintained their own significant characteristic uh, culture, characteristic signatures, different from another. There is the Kalinga, there is the Ifugao, there is the Benguet, etc. Several of them living in that central Luzon, in the mountains of central Luzon. And perhaps anthropologists and archaeologists would be better off to explain about this, would be more eminent, would be more prepared to explain about this than I am, because I have done not much study about this, but I am familiar with these people because at certain times I grew up in that area also.
So, sir, are you aware that there is a place in India which has a name of Kalinga? Are you aware about this?
I have not heard about the place Kalinga, but I am familiar with the place of Kalinga in central Luzon. It's the first time that I'm hearing of that place, Kalinga, in India. You find that where? In the eastern
Oh,
coast?
Present,
oh.
the
This
present
is
day
very
Odisha,
important. Yeah. Present name is Odisha.
present day Odisha is ancient Kalinga.
It's known as
Mhm.
if you go to the Java, Jogjakarta, Java, there is a people, and their people are known as the Kling. So that
Exactly,
Kling, yeah.
exactly. I
So
mean,
that Kling is
I'm,
from Kalinga people.
I mean, in Indonesia, whoever goes from India to
Hmm.
Indonesia, they
Hmm.
presume that he's a king, because the
Kling is the
Kalingans were the
Kalinga people. Yeah.
Kalingans were the most ancient people who actually kind of colonized Java. In a
Yeah.
sense, they had trade links.
Yeah. Thank you
So,
so much, Sunil. This question is very relevant and very important also. I think I can say one another experience with me, that when I do research on the Philippines and the Ramayana and the connection, so there is the that's the Agusan, Stevens, that Agusan, that word, and I am searching that how it is connected. So it's very interesting, just like Sunilji said that it is uh, Kalinga, and there is a Kalinga in Philippines, and Kalinga is very old, ancient culture of India. So there is a place in Haryana, and the king name was Ogroshen. Ogroshen, and who's once upon a time who was the few years he was also the king of the Delhi. I mean, it's a very old history. And then I came to know that with Philippines, that area of Agusan and that area, they have some type of trading with that Haryana buffalo. It was so interesting to know about that the trading is, and I don't know that Agroshen, Agusan, what is the relation, but something was there, just like a place name is Kalinga in the Luzon. So I think there are plenty of scope, Stevens, to do more research.
Yes, yes. Particularly, what we can do, as far as I'm concerned, is get
I,
into these narratives and the derivatives.
I will.
But a lot of things still will have to be done, particularly when we are interested now to get back into the historical roots of our relationships with Asia and Southeast Asia. Because
Yeah,
from my experience, getting back into these kinds of narratives really shows our connectivity with all of Asia and ASEAN. Really.
yeah, that's why it's a very, that's why the roots reunion, the program is also only for that, that how we are connected. We don't knew that, because if we don't get the Agusan Tara, the golden Tara from Agusan, or the copper plate, we even don't knew that the same time of the new year, there is in that copper plate, it is written down that the Baishakha. So the king is donating more, that money and those things to the people for the new year. So that traditional new year till today in Bengal, we said Poila Boishakh, the first day of the traditional new year, Vaishakha. So Vaishakha is the name of the month, the traditional month. So, and Shunilji said that. So I think there are more and more,
There is
what can I say?
there is one more. There is one more information I just want to add. Actually, I can't recall sufficiently regarding one narrative connecting Kalinga with Philippines. So, but then I can definitely let you have the link where it is mentioned, along with proof. That is evidence-based narration about link between Kalinga and Philippines.
Please,
So,
you can share me so I can share
but
to
then
the
can I, have-
Stevens also.
can I have your? I mean, how do I share that with you?
Yeah, I am writing my email ID in the box. Okay. Okay,
Kindly.
okay. So I think it's a very interactive session, and I think we have many people. Dr. Poonam also from Nepal. Madam joined from Nepal. So she was very much interested to listen you that the connection, and I hope. What is your perception? Just like we are finding few new link. So what is your perception, Stevens, about the ancient link with Philippines and India?
Oh,
Yeah.
namaste, ma'am.
Namaste,
Yeah,
Poonamji.
ma, yeah, namaste. And the paper presentation, I joined little late, but it was very interesting because we
Yes.
are also Sanatani and we also celebrate 10 days of Dasara. So there is a very interesting thing I wanted to ask, sir, that every Narayan temple or any temple associated with Lord Vishnu, we have Garuda. And Garuda is always placed in front of the temple with a Anjali Mudra. And I was interested, like in their country also, when they are showing performing, they show Garuda in various, a little different style, but it is Garuda. So I wanted to know that in their country, do they have temple, or do they have garudas in front of the temple, or like Hanuman, Ramayana and Hanuman? In our country, whenever there is a temple of Rama, there will be Hanuman in front, and all the visitors who go to the temple first, we whisper into the ears of Nandi whatever you want to ask. You will ask
Uh,
Nandi, उनके कान में आप बोलते हो. So
hmm.
you
I,
ask, yeah, it's like that. Even with Hanuman, they say, if you want to go to Rama, you cannot go straight to Rama. You must go through Hanuman. So
I
there is,
think, ma'am, there is no temple in the Philippines. Is the Rama temple in Philippines? Stevens, I think no.
I don't think so. I don't think so. What we have here is a Taoist temple, but
But
I think there
Taoist
is
have?
one Buddhist temple in Manila. There is one.
Okay.
Uh, but otherwise, much of the Hindu influences have been erased because Islam in the south and
yes, yes.
Christianity in the north, and we have been separate. The separation, geographic separation of Philippines with mainland Asia
Uh,
is really wide. Precisely when we get back into these narratives now, we try to see the connections, and the connections are real, and the connections are really, significant connections
uh,
through all of this. Uh,
Yes, it's exactly, yeah, what he's saying is very correct, because I found in my library an ancient book of Philippines, and they were presenting, there was a temple, I think. It must have been a temple, because in the library long ago, when I was doing my PhD, and then it was in 2013, and I saw a book, and I was, because mine was dress and ornaments of deities and all that. So I was looking into that. I found there were some sculptures, images, uh, pictures, paintings, mostly paintings of Ramayana, enacting, performing. So maybe once upon a time it was there, but it was destructed by the Muslims. God knows, it is like Afghanistan, which was
So
pure
do
Hindu.
you have that? Do you have that book, ma'am?
Now,
Any
it's
photo?
been in 2013. I saw. If I see it, let me go to the library, because ours is a very big library. And
If you get it, you can just send me few
yeah,
pictures so
okay, okay,
I can send it to the Stevens. Thank you so much for your
yeah.
question, and
Thank you,
uh,
thank you.
thank you. I think we are already late 10 minutes. We have a 1 hour program, and thanks a lot. But I have to say that it's a very interactive program, and it's a thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you so much for the discussion. And we have to, from our roots reunion and all the audience, I have to give you my homage, my utmost respect, my namaste, and we will be keep connect, and I hope we can search more and more things. I think that will be a good thing to know our roots. I think that's very important. Okay.
yeah,
So
the thing I think the most significant thing that has happened to us is the connectivity. That
yeah,
this to see the similarities, commonalities rather than the differences.
yes,
That
yes,
all
that's
of
the
this.
word. That's the word, that we have to find out more commonalities than there's the differences. So this is the, you can say that this is the one of the perception about the roots reunion, that my thought was like that if we can find out more commonalities, more thread of the link, then we can understand each other. And thank you, Sunilji, thank you, Poonam ma'am, for this vibrant question. And I will be wait from Sunilji also and from ma'am also to send me
Um,
the link.
Madam, I have already sent the link to you, your email ID.
Okay,
So you can.
okay. I will
Okay.
check and I will get back to you.
Okay. Thank
Oh,
So is
thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity, and thank you, Stevens,
You're
for
welcome. My
such
pleasure.
a presentation.
yeah,
Thank you.
and I have to say thanks to all the audience, all the members who are joining us to give a successful, podcast, and it will be in YouTube. If anyone miss it, you can share it. So it's very informative and very important for all of us. Thank you so much, Stephen. It's already 10
And I
o'clock in Philippines.
hope to see you in Bangkok. We're living on
Yeah,
Monday.
yeah. I will try to attend your
Okay.
program. Yeah, yeah. Definitely, I want to meet you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Namaste. And with this, we are ending our today's program. So we will meet next. That is also on the Philippines. That is on the linguistic. Dr. Jofe Santarita will be with us on 20 July. I will share the information to all of you. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you and good
Shubhratri.
night.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Thank
Namaste.
you.